Fifth Third Bank is a fantastic institution. I mean, when you really understand how the bank operates, you will really love it. And we have been following this bank for the last 10 years. It's just a wonderful bank. So in today's conversation, I want to talk to you about Fifth Third business lines of credit. You'll have the opportunity to apply with an EIN only if you want to. So let me first give you the overview here so we know exactly what we're talking about. So when you have a Fifth Third bank, a Fifth Third bank line of credit, business line of credit, that is, you can actually do a lot of things with it. What we love about this credit option at Fifth Third is that the bank is really flexible when it comes to the use of line proceeds. Like some institutions, they actually give you they actually place restrictions on what you can do or cannot do with the loan proceeds. Fifth Third doesn't do that. So you can use, if you get approved for a business line of credit from Fifth Third, you can use the cash to manage day-to-day business needs. You can access funds to meet short-term working capital, such as inventory purchases, future project costs, or company payroll. This is really important. So this is good also whether you're an established business or a startup. And you can take advantage of immediate business opportunities, which is really important. You can pay for equipment repair and upgrade. You can meet seasonal business needs. You can cover overhead, meet payroll. You can maintain normal business activities. So what I'm trying to say here is what? I'm trying to say that Fifth Third gives you the operational and financial flexibility to actually take care of business, literally. Okay, you can use the cash to even finance initiatives or marketing campaigns to attract new customers and generate additional revenue through expanded business or sales. Okay, so Fifth Third is really good. Now, when we talk about Fifth Third business lines of credit, you have two primary lines of credit at Fifth Third. You have the Fifth Third Fast Capital Unsecured line of credit, and then you have the secured line of credit. Okay, so let's talk about the Fifth Third Fast Capital. So this is unsecured. So here you are looking at lines that go from $10,000 to $100,000. No collateral is necessary for approval because we're speaking about something unsecured, and you do have minimal documentation requirements. Fantastic. But this line of credit is actually available through Foundation, a partner of Fifth Third Bank. Then you have the secure line of credit. Here you have you can borrow lines that like go all the way to $1 million, not a problem. Okay, but this is overall, we love the flexibility. We love the fact that you get approved real fast. If you have any question about this product, you want to contact 1-877-534-2264, 1-877-534-2264. Now, let me give you the steps you need to follow if you want to be approved for a Fifth Third business line of credit using EIN only or without EIN. Okay. By the way, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. I'm very happy to talk to you here. And so the very first thing you need to do if you want to get a business line from Fifth Third is to really have a clear idea of how much you need. Okay. It's not about, you have to understand Fifth Third is granting you anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000. But you don't have to apply for $100,000 if you don't need that much, right? How much you really need, boss? Have you actually sat down and actually written down on a piece of paper all the expenses that you can actually take care of if your line of credit were approved? And see, because when I'm asking you a question about how much money do you need, I don't want you to throw at me a random number. No. I want you to have a number for me that is backed by a calculation, backed by operational needs. It's backed by some real math. Okay, it's really important because the bank is going to ask you anyway. Fifth Third is really thorough when it comes to their underwriting. They're very thorough they're very flexible, but they're very thorough also. So you need to determine how much you need, and you also need to think about when you think about how much you need, I want you to think about how much you can actually repay, because a business line of credit, usually from Fifth Third or any other institution, you can have the interest only option. In other words, you only pay the interest. You pay interest on the amount that you have tapped into, and you pay actually the full amount at the end of the business line of credit. Or there are some lenders who want you to pay interest plus a small portion of how much you tapped into the fund. Those two options are available at Fifth Third. Okay, so when you think about how much funding you need, please also think about whether or not you'll be in a position to generate enough cash flow to cover interest and or principal payments. Okay, it's important. But remember the delta I just gave you. With Fifth Third, it's from 10,000 to $100,000. You can't get more than that. Don't even try. Okay, so 10,000 to $100,000, and what we have seen in our experience, especially with the clients we have worked with, they had gotten an average of 70 to $75,000, which is really great. And the cool thing is that Fifth Third will approve you real fast. But again, you want to start by calling the number that I gave you, 1-877-534-2264. So number one, you want to decide how much funding you need. Number two, you need to check your eligibility. Okay. By the way, I would just want to quickly remind you to today's topic. We're having a short convo about Fifth Third business lines of credit. You have the EIN option that is actually possible. So when we talk about checking your eligibility, the thing is that Fifth Third is really flexible. That's true. However, they do have their own standards also, because I mean, they have to cover their asses. They're not in business to be a charity or anything like that. So they need to make sure that you actually are in a monetary capacity to repay them whatever you charge, whatever you tap into the business line of credit. So they want you to have a credit history, a credit score of 600 minimum, 600. Okay. By the way, what I want to say here is that you need to have a relationship with Fifth Third. You got to have a checking account with them, a business checking accounts with them. Okay, this will help you a lot. So this is actually the first criterion. First criterion: have a business checking account with them. If you don't have a business checking account, you can still qualify, but they'll give you a very small amount. Fifth Third is very loyal. They love customer fidelity, so it's important to actually think about that. Okay, so having a business checking accounts, and if you want to do things pretty well, also think about having a business savings account. Like, it's really important to actually think about the breadth and depth of your relationship with Fifth Third Bank. So it has to be broad and deep. Okay, that's what we call MPR, multi-product relationship. You're trying to show Fifth Third, hey, listen, we are in this marriage together for a long time, and in return, Fifth Third will bless you with larger amounts and faster approvals. Okay, so credit history, 600. 600 is kind of cool. In terms of business revenue, Fifth Third likes to have minimum $5,000 to $10,000 a year, not a year, a month. So that's about like 100 grand, 125 grand. So the more the better anyway. But yeah, so 5,000 minimum. Okay, if you want to get approved. And in terms of time of business, Fifth Third would like to. They will work with you if you're a startup. However, you must prove to them that you plan to actually be in business for a long while. And how do you prove that? By showing a compelling business plan. Okay, so time in business, minimum 1 year. If you want below that, you have to have a business plan and a set of financial statements. The third thing I want you to do here is that I want you to really sit back and think about your options. Now, you probably are interested in getting a business line of credit from Fifth Third. Okay, but what if there were other options that were better for you? Because you might be thinking, well, Fifth Third is good for me. I've been with them for a while now. I have a great relationship with them. I have checking accounts, savings account at the family level, at the personal level. I have this also at the business level now. I probably have a loan with them. But sometimes maybe it's just a lot better to see if the grass might be greener on somebody else's turf, right? You never know. So you want to research and compare lenders. I'm not saying you want to drop Fifth Third from the race of lenders you want to consider. All I'm just saying is that I want you to look at the a larger expanse of lenders, a larger breadth. I mean, it's not even a phrase, a larger constellation of lenders before making a final decision. Okay, so when we talk about Fifth Third, you think about Fifth Third's competitors. You have PNC, you have TD Bank, you have BMO Harris, you do have First Citizens Bank, you have Citizens Financial Bank, you have US Bank. So you do have a lot of banks that are also in the same geography. They may actually provide similar sort of products. See if they're better or worse. Okay. And also, when you think about you looking for a business line of credit, do not underestimate other institutions such as credit unions, because what I just gave you were just banks, but you have credit unions also. You have Navy Federal, for example, that provides a business line of credit. You have CCU, commercial credit union. You have consumers credit unions, and so you have a lot of them. You have Connexus also, and also think about online lenders. Okay, I mean, maybe you might be lucky with an online lender. Who knows, like Bluevine or OnDeck or a Fundbox. You have Balboa Capital. You have SmartBiz. Okay, you do have a lot of lenders here. So again, you want to go with Fifth Third, but always see whether or not there are not like other options out there. The next thing I want you to do here is to gather required documentation. So the paperwork is really important. Your paperwork is really important. By the way, I want to quickly remind you to this topic. We're having a short convo about how to apply for a Fifth Third business line of credit. You can do EIN only if you want to, or without EIN, it's totally up to you, okay? So when we talk about gathering the required documentation, what I want you to do first is to go to a branch. Because I can tell you for a fact, everything I'm telling you in today's conversation, or anything you might read on Fifth Third's website, this information, by the time you listen to this show, I don't know when you will listen to this show, how long it will take from the time we actually produced this show to the time you listen to it. There could be like a long time, and things might have changed in the meantime. So this is why it's just a lot better to go to a branch and actually have a conversation with people at the branch and ask them questions. Okay, usually Fifth Third wants you to provide things like personal and business tax returns, business licenses and permits, articles of incorporation or organization, personal and bank business statements, okay, and business bank statements. The thing is that if you already have a relationship with Fifth Third, if Fifth Third is your primary bank, then they already have all your information, so you don't have to provide business bank statements anymore. Okay, this is why it's important, as I said earlier, to actually think about having that relationship with Fifth Third, so that you can parlay that relationship into a better sort of set of rates with them. Okay. Also think about your financial statements. Fifth Third might want to see that. They might want to see your financial statements. They might want to see a business plan. The business plan is really important. A business plan and a set of financial statements those two are important when it comes to securing a business line of credit using EIN only from Fifth Third. Okay, so this is really important. Think about business leads. Okay, and if you are not really sure about what documents are needed, you want to contact the lender before applying. Okay, contact the lender before applying. So you want to contact Fifth Third before applying, so you have a clear idea of what they're asking for. It's always important to reach out to Fifth Third before applying. This is why I was just telling you earlier. Don't listen to, or don't read only information on the website and say, okay, here is the information I'll be going by. No. You want to dig a little further, go to a branch. The next thing I want you to do here is to submit your application. Okay, so when we talk about actually getting a Fifth Third business line of credit, you have decided how much money you need. You have checked your eligibility. You have researched and compared lenders to make sure that Fifth Third is indeed your best option. You have gathered required documentation. You have submitted your application. Those are really good. Now, submitting application is really important because that's what's going to seal the deal, so to speak. Okay, and so Fifth Third does give you the option to apply online. Don't get me wrong. And if that's what you want, go ahead and do it. I'm not asking you not to do it. I'm just saying it's just a lot better to apply at a branch. Okay. Now, if you apply at a branch, what will happen here is that the turnaround time will be faster. Okay, and if you apply online, it will take a few minutes for the application to submit. However, it does go into a queue, and it could take a while before that queue gets cleared up, and the underwriters, the Fifth Third underwriters, get your application. But if you apply it at a branch, the info will be submitted directly to them. Okay, so it's really important now. And now Fifth Third might ask you additional information. Please, if they do reach out to you, you want to really get back to them real fast. Do not ghost them. We say this all the time. It's important to keep that in mind. So do not ghost them. Like, for example, if they ask you for the purpose of the line of credit, or they ask you for your business tax ID because maybe you forgot to put your EIN, or they're asking you to actually explain your annual revenue, to sort of like contextualize your revenue. Those are things that you might be thinking like, oh, okay, those are like, this is not that important. For Fifth Third, but for Fifth Third, it's important. What will happen here is that when you apply at a branch, you actually will be assigned a business loan rep. It will be like your loan advisor, somebody who can answer all your questions like every now and then. And this is the person that you want to contact. This is one of the reasons why you want to apply at a branch versus applying online, so that you can actually be put into contact with, let's say, like, a another person, and that person will actually help you. Okay, and it's still really important to think about how to best utilize this person's as a resource to bolster your loan application or your line of credit application odds. Let me give you a few pro tips before we actually close today's conversation. And it's really important to understand that when we talk about Fifth Third as a lender, and you want to actually get a business line of credit from them, please make sure you pay attention to a few things. Okay, but normally if you go to a branch and apply there, your Fifth Third loan advisor would have explained everything to you. Okay, now you want to think about the cost and the fees, because Fifth Third has a constellation of cost and fees depending on the geography you're applying from, that the institution attaches to your line of credit. And so you have to think about the interest rates of the business line of credit that you are approved for. You want to think about the draw fee, because I mean, the Fifth Third wants to make money. So based again, it depends on the geography. They don't apply this policy across the board. They do it state by state by state by state. Okay, so you have a draw fee, you have a payment processing fee. In some cases, you have a late fee, and you do have also a termination fee. The reason why I'm just saying all this is because those fees really eat into your, and you also, by the way, you also have a prepayment penalty. So those are important to keep into consideration. Why? Because they will eat into your liquidity. They're actually they're chipping away at your available funds. Okay, so those are really important to manage this aspect of things properly. What I also want to say here is that when we talk about paying attention to a few criteria. So this is after you are approved, or even before you are approved, though. Just make sure that you read everything. I'm not saying you have to read all the legalese, all the fine prints and whatnot. No, if you don't want to, but normally you should. But if you don't want to, then what you want to do here is that you want to have someone actually take a look. You want to have maybe if you have an in-house lawyer, or you want to have an on-call lawyer. You want to just want to run the business line of credit agreement by them, so they can read it a little bit and give you advice. Okay, and don't try to be stingy and say, well, I want to pay a lawyer for that. Well, if you're getting approved for a $75,000 business line of credit, for example, I mean, paying a lawyer like $300 or $200 to review the terms of the agreement, it's really worth it. Okay, so please do that. Because before I close to this conversation, what I want to say here is that it's important to understand that, if you remember, I was just talking to you earlier about researching and comparing lenders, right? So Fifth Third is not the only business line of credit lender who is out there. You have a constellation of them. And the cool thing is that all lenders are trying to fight for your business. And I know you want to be loyal to Fifth Third. You have been with them for a while. That's fine. I understand that. I get that. But what if they don't have a business line of credit with the terms that you want? What if they don't have the proper repayment window? What if they don't have the proper structuring? Then you're going to have to find another lender. Because if you are in the market for a business line of credit, you're not going to actually zero in on one lender only. You're not going to put all your eggs in the proverbial basket. No, you want to broaden your horizons. You want to look for other opportunities. Okay, so when you start looking for other opportunities, there are 3 other business line of credit providers that we love a lot, that we have reviewed on this show, that you might be interested in. For example, we have Blue Vine. So Blue Vine actually gives you like a business line of credit that goes from $6,000 to $250,000. So this is really cool. You also have On Deck. On Deck also offers a business lines of credit between $6,000 and $100,000 with a 12-month repayment window. So okay, with the Blue Vine, the repayment window is longer, so you have 12 months and 18 months. And then you also have American Express. So they call it American Express Business Blueprints. So this is a line of credit that actually goes from 2,000 to a quarter of a million with 6, 12, and 18-month terms. Okay, so this are really good. Now the only thing is that this was formerly called Cabbage. Cabbage was actually a company that was actually running this business line of credit before. I mean, and during COVID, they had some problems. They had some they had to do some kind of reorganization, so they got bought over by American Express. So since then, American Express has actually rebranded the whole business, and so now they're offering it as American Express Business Blueprint. It's a great product though. So I'm just giving you options there. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I just walked you through fifth, third business lines of credit, EIN only option available. So I gave you an overview. I gave you the steps you need to follow. I gave you a few pro tips, and I just share with you a few lenders you might want to think about. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.